Hello, folks. Happy New Year. Welcome to have everybody here. Excited to be here starting off the new year. So very first thing, as we always do at the meetup, who is hiring? And you hiring? Be your mouth's full of pizza. Do you need a minute? Anyone else hiring? No. OK. I'll stall for you a little bit. I just want to stress the importance of people offering jobs at the meetup. We just had a longtime member of the meetup get a brand new job. We're all very excited for him by meeting someone at the meetup. So the friendships at the meetup and the relationships you build here occur and help people get jobs. Over the years, we've gotten countless people jobs, and it's very good to see it happening again. I guess I could call you two out? Or Eric and Frank. Eric already was working there, and he got Frank a new job. So congratulations to you guys. And I'd love to see more of this. Like the meetup, you used to get so many people jobs. I know the job market's slower, but Andy's hiring. You come here so people can hear you.
Yeah.
Get nice and cozy.
Yeah. I love a radiator sound. Hi, I'm Andy. I'm a data scientist with Grow Progress. We're a firm that helps polls, tests ads, does modeling for democratic clients and progressive causes. We're hiring a few roles, a little less in the data science side of the org, but if any of y'all work in things like demand gen, are interested in helping our politics and advocacy clients in like a more of a relationship management role, we're hiring there as well. Come say hi after the talk. Love to chat.
Thank you. And can you post it in the job postings channel on the meetup? All right, so for those of you watching at home and you can't be here to get that job announcement, if you go to the meetup Slack, which you can find at nyhackr.org, on the top there's a Slack button. If you're on mobile, you have to click the hamburger. Go there, and there's a channel called Job Postings where people post jobs. So go there and look for a job. Andy will post his, and maybe some other ones will be up there. All right, great. Then as we kick off the new year, we have pizza from Little Italy Pizza. So everyone in the room, I see a lot of you already doing this, pull out your phones and go to bit.ly/pizza poll. And we have a 5-point scale we want you to rate the pizza on. We've been doing this for well over a decade, and we've been keeping track of this. If anyone ever wants to see the actual data, at nyhackr.org, if you click on More, there's actually an interactive bar chart showing all of these years of data we've been collecting. So go on there, rank it on this 5-point scale, Little Italy Pizza. If you're watching from home, let us know what you're eating. Vikram, haven't heard from you in a little while, but I know you keep letting us know in the chat. We haven't seen you in a little while, but you keep watching and letting us know what you're eating. So Vikram, let us know. Anyone else virtually, let us know what you're eating. Maybe Jeff Ryan out there is eating his Detroit-style pizza in Chicago. Maybe other people are eating other things. So chime in, let us know. Speaking of chiming in, if you're watching virtually and you want to contribute to the conversation, you have two ways. You can comment right on the YouTube channel you're watching on. Go into the chat, comment right there, and I will do my best to share it with everybody. Or go to that Slack channel I mentioned before, not the Slack channel, the Slack team, and go to the monthly Meetup chat channel, monthly Meetup chat, and go in there and tell us what you're eating in there. That goes the same for questions. People in the room can obviously ask questions using their voice when it's appropriate. People at home, if you want to ask a question of our speaker, ask it either on YouTube or on Slack, and I will collate those questions and ask our speaker at the end. All right? Everyone got that? Cool. Everyone voted? Awesome. Cool. Next up, next month, February 19th, that will be our meetup. It'll be George Parrott, talking about, he solidified his idea today. It's going to be maybe the antithesis of this talk, actually. He's going to talk about how vibe data analysis might not work. So it'll be pretty fun. There's a reason I put these things back to back. February 19th, the announcement, if he gives us his stuff, will be out tomorrow. If not, give us a day or two. Really excited. And along those lines, he's not here, but everyone, thank you to George Parrott for consistently getting us to space at NYU. Give him a big round of applause so you can watch on YouTube. We do have speakers lined up for March and April, but we need more speakers. And I will go around pointing at people who haven't given a talk mark in a while. Eric. Zach, you're new, but you're still on the hook, right? So, Garrett, how long ago was your talk? Was it over a year?
No.
How long?
Like 9 months.
9 months. All right, 3 more months you're on. Frank, you're coming up soon. All right.
It was 3 months ago, man.
It was only 3 months ago?
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right, you got 9 months. You're good. All right, but you folks get the point. You have to give a talk. Well, you don't have to. I won't force anyone, but I will voluntold some people. All right? So, oh, Andy, you have to give a talk, don't you? Oh, you're recent? All right, you're off the hook. All right, so I will start going around the room and randomly forcing people to do this. I will. All right, so volunteer, speak up. I know some of you you post so much cool stuff on LinkedIn. You have to give a talk already. Yes, you. All right, we'll talk to you. And you're going to be due soon. All right, everyone's going to get a chance, all right? So please, seriously, come to me, though. Tell me if you want to talk. And also, people from home, if you don't live in New York City, but you happen to be passing through New York, let us know. We'll schedule a talk. Before the pandemic, we had people from all around the world come and give talks here because everyone visits New York City, and they gave a talk when they came. So let me know. If you're coming from home, find us. You're at jaredlander.com, landeranalytics.com. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Blue Sky, LinkedIn, wherever. Find me. Find me anywhere and let us know you want to give a talk. All right? Cool. Then after the meetup tonight, we're going to go to the physically closest bar possible. All right? So White Oak Tavern, right up that way, somewhere. It's a 2-minute walk. We're going to go there. It'll be nice and warm once we get in there. Who is coming so we just get a rough show of hands? Raise your hands if you think you're going to come. Raise them proudly. George, oh, George, you need to give a talk. Yeah, all right. We got another speaker. Oh, you're already down. You're already giving one. All right, raise your hands if you want to come give it to the bar. You got a good head count, roughly? All right, cool. You're hiding from me. I couldn't see you, but you're already good. All right, good. So White Oak Tavern, I will remind people on the way out, but you all by now know where that is, most of you. And if you're new, find a buddy. All right? It's very easy. All right, so we got everything covered. So welcome to the new year, and we are very excited to kick off the new year with a repeat speaker, both from the meetup and from the conference. He's going to give us a talk today about vibing. Everyone, please welcome Bill.
Fabulous. All right, so super excited to be here. Jared, thank you again for the opportunity to speak. Since the last time we spoke, I've started a new hobby. Been playing pickleball. I've gone deep down the rabbit hole. So much so that my friends are threatening an intervention. And honestly, they're not wrong. So with all the AI stuff that's out there, can I use AI to better schedule, free up some time between a couple of my more favorite hobbies these days, pickleball, yoga, so hence vibes, volleys, and vinyasas. Today, we'll talk briefly around what my challenge is, what the germ of the idea that drove this, for this proof of concept, what good actually looks like, my plan, how I executed on it, what I learned on the other side, what AI is really, really great at, and what I have to learn more about and where it's not there yet. Some of my next steps, and time permitting, we'll do Q&A. Themes. What are some of the themes you all are going to hear about today? If there's one thing you take out of today's talk, it would be, what is AI first thinking? It's a really different way of thinking. I've got kids, they're all 20-somethings, and they're deep down the rabbit holes on all of this, and they really come at it from a much more native way of thinking. So for me to really get the most out of this, I have to unthink patterns that have served me well for many years. So what is AI first thinking? Boundaries. The AI, the large language models, they all have boundaries between what they're absolutely fabulous at, what they're not there yet for, and it's really not clear. There's a lot of hype out there, and how do we know where those boundaries are? Subject matter, SME, not SME. Depending on where you land on that in the domain you're operating in, you could take very different approaches. Can the results that the AI produces be validated or not? Or maybe. Again, you'll take very different approaches on how we embrace the outputs of the AIs. And lastly, this really pushed me. It pushed me almost to the extent of a full stack developer, which I am not at all. And there's a lot of design thought partnership type interactions that you're going to see here. I did get there. This is the output. It works. It's online. I can get to it from anywhere. It produces results. And this is all going to be about our journey getting here. And at the end, we'll actually show you how it works. The overwhelming majority of the code we're going to go through today is available on my GitHub, Bill C. Gold, sportsagent.ai. It's my Gmail. You know, if I redacted parts of it that were PII kind of stuff, so most of it should work, but if it doesn't, just feel free to drop me a note. This is ravioli. My spouse and I are in conflict over whether we should get another dog or not. This is our compromise. Ravioli shows up at our house a couple days a week. He's part of the story, but more on that later. That's really ravioli on my right, your left. That's an AI ravioli on the left. All right, challenges. What's my challenge? I'm booking a lot of pickleball and yoga, many times a week, sometimes multiple times a day. To actually do this involves juggling 4 different apps on one smartphone screen. There's bookings, there's wait lists. Wait lists are an opening popped up. The first one to respond actually gets it, so they're time sensitive. I've got a ton of different alerts on my phone when a booking window is open, so it's messy. Can AI make this a simpler experience? It's always good to start out with what good actually looks like for me in terms of features. Just finding availability. I've got to have a slot on my calendar. It's got to have the family calendar, the yoga schedule. The classes, not only there, are they available? So lots of juggling. That's what the scope of what we're going to see today. If I feel brave enough, I might try a prompt and try to do a booking, which I haven't done here in real time, maybe. The rest are future features. Actually book the session, book recurring sessions, quickly get off wait lists. Thematically, at least what good looks like. It's easy, fast, simple, ubiquitous to access. AI first thinking, we talked about maximizing automation. Super important to me is upskilling. You know, it's these are whole new sets of tools. How to use them effectively, Claude Code, Cursor, Cloud Skills. Lastly, the code's clean, standards, and it actually works. That's the yardstick to shoot for. So what's the plan? Need to break apart the process to know which pieces of it I can attack. Do some design work. Before getting deep into coding, I'll make a big prompt, see if it actually works the way we want it to work. The next 2 are all about collecting data. Pickleball schedule data, yoga data, and my personal calendar, and then deployment. Yeah, that was a whole rabbit hole unto itself. And lots of iterations along the way. Okay, let's talk quickly about the process maps. I got super detailed. You know, I don't know, maybe I've been hanging around to lots of tech people, but there's orchestration layers, there's data layers, there's data normalization, and it's like, well, maybe I'm thinking about this a little too much. So pulling back, a simplified scope, we need to capture this data here. We're going to be working with these tools, a lot of Claude Code, wound up using Gemini, I'll tell you why in a little bit, went deep down the Cursor rabbit hole, which I'm curious, quick question. amongst the group here, and Nicole for the people virtual, show of hands, who uses coding agents? Okay, roughly 60%. And second question, who uses a coding agent to build something end to end? Okay. Yeah, that's exactly what you said, Jared. Good call. All right, well, we're going to have a fun journey together today. Where's this going to run? Ideally, it's simple, not expensive. Maybe run it on my laptop, see what we do in the cloud. And user interface. I haven't done much of that work on the web. Wound up using Node.js. And I'll walk you through some anecdotes there. Cool. Let's get into some designing. AI first thinking. One of my pet peeves in the standards is naming conventions for coding. It drives me crazy when I look at code and the variable name is ambiguous, it's not consistent. Really, a well thought through variable name should give you most of what you need for documentation. Centralized logging, we'll talk about tech stacks, database design, briefly touch on directory structures. Okay, first prompt. Coding standards. I'm designing a reservation application for booking time. For example, golf, yoga, pickleball, tennis, etc. Recommend a semantic structure, nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, to use as a naming standard for the database. Pardon me, I'm going to jump around a little bit here. Let me make this bigger so you can actually read it, see it. Okay, good. So this is the prompt, and this is the results. Got this phenomenally organized view of recommended naming conventions. It's about a 10-page document, super clean, well described. One of the surprising things here is it really forced me to think through and get to clarity around what the organizational structure should be. For example, the yoga place I go to is a sole proprietor kind of place. Where I play pickleball is part of a big chain. How do you capture those? Does it matter? Blah, 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 things of that nature. Hadn't even thought of that stuff. So that's one. And then I'm going to jump around a little bit, so bear with me. Figuring I'd put that into a database, I took that output document, put it into Claude, and said, make my database for me. So in what was minutes, I have all the code I need to create the database. And it's clean, it's consistent, and I have not invested a lot of time in this. I thought that was pretty cool. Let's go back to the slideshow. Talked about that. The one opportunity I think to improve on this is that document, the semantic structure, is a living, breathing document. There's always going to be things to add to that. So I think if I were to do this over, I would add that to my prompts to say, as you create new things, make sure it's automatically added to the document. Lots of architecture discussions to be had. I'm not going to walk you through the whole journey here. I'll just take you to the answer. But I want to give you a flavor of the architecture discussion that occurred. Oops. So that would be here. Goal. Help me create a sound technical architecture. I want to do it in steps, first on my laptop, then on the cloud. So run data extraction scripts, access the data, create prompts, create a GUI, show the user. a whole bunch of, initially, it's going to be mobile friendly from a web browser, simple. Initially, it's going to run on my MacBook, stored in CSV files, crawling the web for data. Eventually, maybe it's an app. Maybe it runs on AWS. How do I solve for data storage? How do I solve for passwords? I need to account for alerting, logging and alerting. And this I thought was really, really cool. What are the key questions I should be asking you? What am I missing? So it came back and said, these are the 5 questions that we should be talking about. Okay, gave them my answers. Is real-time scraping meter? I thought that was a great question. For now, it's not. And then it came back with this architectural proposal. AWS, it came up with a data layer, storage layers, application layer, monitoring and alerting, a proposed document, file structure, and then a whole discussion on technical choices. I'm not going to walk through that because it changes, but I'm way ahead of what I could have ever done on my own. As you go to AWS, it's recommending containers based on Lambdas. For those not familiar with AWS, Lambdas are code that run serverless. AWS abstracts and manages all the hardware for you. I'm like, that's great. I want simple. Even if it takes longer to run it first, I'm good with that. I like that. That'll come back to bite me. What else? Logging and alerting. So key metrics, the evolutionary path from CSVs to database, security best practices, skip the calendar user interface, and then a checklist. And this checklist was phenomenally helpful. And that was the architecture discussion. All right, I'll talk a little bit about where I landed on the architecture. Email. Email's kind of cool because it's time tested. There's tons of APIs. I just have to figure all that out. And that involves setting up a whole bunch of stuff on Google Cloud. Never did that before. And some API code. Never did that before. The web crawling is through Python, eventually a library called Selenium. We'll talk more about that in a bit. Used a combination of Claude and Gemini. Used a ton of Claude code. Actually landed for the prototype on AWS. EC2 with an EC2 instance and an S3 buckets, and the user interface we talked about. I'll talk about the email security concerns in a bit, but there's a lot of green on this slide. and that's things that are all new for me. It's kind of cool. Okay, let's get into the web scraping. Which programming language tools are best for creating a web crawler which will log into a site and book the time based on user-specified parameters? Basically, it came back and said Python's a great choice, and originally they recommended Playwright encoded. They said Selenium or Playwright. They went with Selenium. I'll spare you the details of the discussion, but it's quite similar to what we went through in the architectural discussion. So each of these has a big discussion, recommendation, and actual code behind it. Directory structure, same thing. Since there's so many new technologies in the mix, how do you organize it? Came up with things that made sense. I put my own thumbprint on it, and done very quickly. Cool. with a lot of the design behind us, let's actually manually craft a prompt and see if this works, if it's viable, if I'm thinking about this the right way. So what I want the user experience to be is this. Simple, clean, to the point. What yoga classes work with my schedule this weekend? What does the prompt need to know? I value accuracy, great. And by the way, this is the 4th evolution of the prompt. So these are some things that I've learned the hard way along the way. Take your time, get only accurate answers. Speed of response is not important. Look for things that don't conflict, fine. Exclusions. Exclude classes where the time has already passed. You know, this whole point of time, things to consider. Let the LM know we're in the East Coast. I'm in East Coast. And then Ravioli, the dog, has these big blocks of time on my calendar. He shows up for the whole day or for 10 days at a time. So it's okay to book over Ravioli. Rather than change the behavior of the owners to make that as free time, I just had the prompt handle it for me. And then gave a view of what the output format should be. And it worked. It worked nicely. And that's why Ravioli is part of the story. Okay, let's get into the bulk of the data, which is going to involve on the pickleball and yoga, lots of web crawling, and on the calendar, a Google Calendar API. So how does the data present itself on the web? It looks exactly like this. 200 programs on the wait list. I'm sorry, that the facility offers. What we want is we want that in a data format. So how much to delegate? So AI first thinking here would mean what? Well, let's go super high level, super abstract, because if you think of this concept in how it presents itself in an organizational structure, a CEO of a big company might say to the president of a line of business, go start this new line of business, or go launch this new product. Very high level. You handle all the details. I'm just going to kind of oversee. Whereas a line manager might say to a programmer, code this module, test this, make sure this is running. So where in that continuum of what we could delegate are we going to operate? So first I said, let me go super high level. There's this website. It's got a schedule on it. Go find the schedule and extract some data. Will it work? Nope. Burn lots of tokens. It was never able to really navigate the website to get to the schedule data. It tried and tried and tried. Okay, too high. Second attempt, I created like a 2 or 3 page document that said the goals, the context, coding standards, what I want to be configurable, username, password, URL, what the inputs and outputs should look like, and then for each step in the web navigation, I outlined the title, the URL, the action, and gave a sample image or a sample data. And that looked something like this. Nope, this one. Okay. That's it. See, a couple of pages, mostly screen snapshots. This probably took me 10 or 15 minutes to put together. It basically worked. There were hiccups. There were fields that didn't get right. There's a lot of QC to be involved. I think next time I do this, I would bake more quality checks into the prompt. But for not a lot of effort, I got the pickleball data pretty easily. That's pretty cool. All right, so let's try yoga. This is what the yoga schedule website looks like. This is the data that we want. Same thing. Let's go to the detailed thing. I won't show you the document, but I put all this in. What I will show you is the actual, what the code on the output looks like. I don't think I showed that last time. But, sorry about that. That's small, but got a lot of good Python code out. That was kind of cool. 2 for 2? Not even close. There's something that looks like this, a privacy settings prompt that comes up, and the code could not get through it. And I'll show you Claude Code in a bit, but Claude Code is constantly running in the background. It didn't work, I'll try this. It didn't work, I'll try this. It didn't work, I'll try this. It ran for the better part of 2 days and was unable to get past this. And it tried lots of things on its own. I am not a web crawler or programmer, but I made suggestions, different browsers, different libraries. Here's screen snapshots of what you're missing. Here's the HTML behind what you're missing. And long conversations. I switched to Gemini. And it worked. Now, so this is pre-version 3.0. It was 2.5. It wasn't the quick model. It had to go to the deep thinking model. But it did work. And that's why we use Selenium. We changed libraries along the way. There were data hiccups getting the day of the week, the time zone, getting the week flips, the month flips, the year flips to work. And those were all the process of refining prompts, testing, and getting it back in. And little nuancy things, like there's wait lists and things like that, and knowing what classes are available and not. But these were basically in the bucket of QC. QC, bug fix, those went pretty quick. The one up top took a while. Calendar. Calendar's a different story. First, I'll talk about some worries. There's a ton of sensitive information that is directly connected to your email, to my email account. Password resets, cell phones, financial stuff. So that worried me. So what I did was I created a second Google account. Ironically, it's called BG's, Bill Gold, AI. So then I shared my calendar with that second account, and everything goes in that second account. So I felt better about that, which then got me thinking, maybe, and I'm not a security expert, but I created a third account, and I have my banks go to that account. It's the only thing that goes there. It's never been on the internet. Email's never published anywhere. So that made me feel good. It's a little isolated. Same thing, calendar, the web view, and then became a very, very, very long conversation about how do you get data out of Google Cloud. Let's see, let's take a quick look at that. It's weird how that doing something a little funky. But I'm not going to do much more switching back and forth. So just bear with me. Code. What's that? And this is all a big, long conversation with Gemini about how to get data from a Python script out of a Google Calendar. And you can't see it here, but this goes on and on. The code is the easy part. The code was not hard. For me, what was far more challenging was finding the Google Cloud Console, navigating that. And I'd take a picture of the console, I put it into Gemini, where do I go next? So really trying to lead into the delegate. Tell me what to do. This isn't working, why isn't it working? This is a really, really, really long thread. But I was able to do it. So we got the data out. And then deployment. Kind of say I'm data scientist, data engineer, started my journey as a programmer. I've led some LML ops teams, so I have some kind of, I know where not to get in trouble. Probably not the guy you want touching the keyboard. Definitely not a cloud architect or administrator. Definitely not a web developer. But I wanted to run this on my laptop because cloud's not in my toolbox. You know, I could use SageMaker, but I've never set up an instance. What I learned is that the cron jobs I set up on here won't fire if the laptop's not asleep. I'm not going to leave my laptop awake, 7 by 24, fine. Laptop's out. Next step, let's go to AWS with some of the Lambda functions. I won't have to set up a server. That's good. But web scraping and Lambda don't mix well, which is contrary to what the AI told me. You have to add extra libraries. That's clunky. It takes time, and there's all sorts of timeout limits. Okay, learn that the hard way, and it's kind of well documented on some Reddit threads. So we wound up with a dedicated EC2 instance. It works. It's more administration for me to get through, but it kind of works. And again, this was the byproduct of a long conversation. And that's the cool thing, it works. So let's take a look. Maximize this. And this is live and real. So I'm going to ask, what yoga classes work with my schedule? That shouldn't matter. Let's say Saturday, 1:31, and Sunday, fingers crossed. Not nervous at all. There it goes. Let's see if I can make this a little bigger. Looking at the schedules, these two classes are available. This one is not. Saturday, Sunday, the 4 p.m. Pardon me. The 4 p.m. is available. It conflicts with my 8 a.m. yoga appointment. So I'm already in there. 3 great options. So I can get through a lot of data very quickly to figure out what I want to land and book. Get into Claude in a moment. Skip that. Okay, we're going to see if the audio actually works here.
Then you're probably right to be concerned. It's good you're looking out for your son's education.
Thanks. It's really nice to have someone to talk to about all this.
No worries. Let me know if there's any other way I can help. I'm always here.
You're so awesome. Thanks. Good night, honey.
Have a great sleep, and I'm sure you'll do more amazing things tomorrow.
So sycophony, which means you're being told what you want to hear. It's all over. You're right. That's such a great thing. It's like, you got this wrong. Check this. You're absolutely right. That's great that you're thinking about that. So it's real. There's a pretty interesting YouTube from Anthropic on this topic. Just Google YouTube Anthropic cacophony. I thought it was interesting. Themes, lessons learned. So on the AI first thinking, delegate way more than you think you should. And if you're not making your prompts more granular and adding more detail along the way, you're probably not delegating enough. So there's a boundary. I don't have an intuition of where that is. So I start by erroring on the side of delegating more. And we were talking about that before. It's a weird feeling to let go. And there's big parts of this code base I've never looked at. That JS node code, I wouldn't know it if you put it in front of me. And knowing when that's okay and when that's not okay is a great muscle to develop. Boundaries, again, boundaries of what these AI models do well and don't. They're out there. It's super not clear where those boundaries are. There's a massive sense of hype. There's a whole hype industrial complex that masks that from you. But finding that boundary is super critical, at least in my opinion. Are you a SME? Are you not a SME? You know, if I'm using this to train a model, to analyze data, super, super comfortable. I know what questions to ask. I know what questions to drill into. I know if the data is known or unknown and how I'm going to approach that in both of those. But SME, not SME are very different approaches, different discussions. So that's something to really keep in mind. Can the output be validated? Can it not be validated? Is it hard to validate? Is it easy to validate? Again, those are going to take you down very, very, very different paths. So to me, two of the critical dimensions are SME, not SME. Validate hard, validate easy. And here's how I started thinking about that segmentation. So in the bottom left, your SME and validation is easy. Push the pedal hard, go fast, try things, have fun with it. That to me is a go fast segment. Upper left, you're not a SME. Maybe the model is, but you're not. The validation is easy. A lot of code is simple. It runs, it doesn't run. And that's okay for some code. Do your tests and learns. Iterate quickly. Lots of fast iterations. On the right-hand side, my right, your left, if you're a SME and the validation is hard, lots of auditing. But more importantly, pick and choose where you're going to do that. Because if the validation is hard, that's a big time commitment. And where are you going to place those bets? Your danger zone, not a SME, hard to validate. Anyone want to venture a guess which Seinfeld episodes these are? Pardon?
What's the bro, the man's ear?
The men's ear? Yes, yes, yes. Good, good, good.
Was the bottom right when Brooke Shields was stalking Joey? Different show.
Yeah.
Oh, they're friends. I'm sorry. Oh. They're both in New York, okay?
Oh, that was the spinning.
Yes, yes, yes. The magic loogie. Pardon?
The full body dry heave.
Yes, 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 yes. And the upper right? Vandelay Industries.
Hey, which one? There's many ventilators.
Are they? I did not know that. Ah. Okay. Cool. Last lesson learned. that whole design approach to thinking. To me, it's very conversational. It's very much a thought partner. It's very much a batting average. Much of where it steered me worked. Is it the best? I don't know. Some didn't. But I'd say 80, 85%, the design thinking was good. My next steps, I want the code to book a court, set up recurring bookings, schedule sometimes if I do a lot of queries, the quality decays. So the context window inside the LLM is getting full. So I need an ability to restart and flush that out. That's it. Any questions?
Two things. One, I go to the same pickleball place in Whippany.
Oh, sweet.
I've never seen you there, but I
Okay.
do go there very often. My mom caught the pickleball bug, so hence when I'm home, I caught the pickleball bug.
Excellent, excellent. I can help you with booking time.
So another thing, can you go back to the slide in which you said that Claude couldn't do it with that security thing? And would you mind diving into the prompt, the really long prompt, and kind of talk through what that process was of going back and forth with it? Or the chat.
So I looked. I was in Claude Code, and I don't know if or where that's captured. What I can describe for you there is, with Claude, it'll come back and say, hey, this didn't work. So the first thing we did was, wait, I'm referring to it as a we. Wow, that's weird. Is we put debugging code within. So it would print out, I'm at this step, I'm at this step, I'm at this step. So it became, and then it thinks it's going through, and it's done. It was operating in headless mode, so I didn't see it. So, all right, let's change it to non-headless mode. And then I could see it's this privacy prompt that's coming out. So that's what got to it's the privacy prompt. And then I said, hey, I told Claude it's the privacy prompt. So it spun around, and for those not familiar with Claude Code, there's a couple of modes you can operate in. It'll say, do you want me to try this? Do you want me to try this? Or you can say, I'm just going to say yes ahead of time. You do what you want to do. So I got into that mode with Claude, and it tried a lot of different things. And it was trying different HTML things that are not very clear to me. It tried, ultimately, it said, well, try a different browser. So we went from Chromium to Firefox to Safari. None of that worked. Then, what else did it try? Different libraries. We went through Playwright, Beautiful Soup, Selenium. That didn't work. So it was a few days into it at that point, not full time. But that's why I said, let me try Gemini. Google's, it's a good model. They do a ton of web crawling. And it didn't do it on the middle tier model, but the high-end model got it right away.
And what was the solution that the high-end model came up with?
I don't know. I could go back and compare the code, but then it's all in this, what do you delegate, what don't you delegate?
I'll stalk the GitHub repo after.
Was Claude coming up with hypotheses on exactly why different things weren't working? Because I've noticed that it sometimes helps to ask it, well, if it was X, would you see this? What are these errors compatible with? Or some nudge where I'm not actually coming up with a solution, but if you push it, like, it gets some hunch of like what might be causing the error? It's a good question. And so the question was Claude coming up with hunches, hypothesis of what to do? It always has one.
there were DOM objects, or different objects embedded in the HTML, or the hierarchy of how things are nested within the HTML structure was one thread. Another thread was, it's not Pickleball Palace, which is the place we go to. I'm sorry, this was yoga, it wasn't pickleball. It wasn't Revel Yoga, but Walla is the app behind this. So it's all right, let me not go to Revel Yoga, I'm going to go directly to Walla and take that out. And then there's all sorts of, one of the hypotheses was it's dynamic HTML that apps put out there so that people won't do what I'm trying to do. So those are some of the so yes, lots of hypothesis, always hypothesis driven, but there's something Claude doesn't know yet that would enable it to solve. And to me, that's one of the fascinating things about these AI. You've heard the term reinforcement learning from human feedback. What is that? Essentially, these are stochastic models. So each time you run the same prompt, you're going to get a different answer. And there's a lot of energy and dollars and time that the big hyperscalers are putting into experts rank ordering 7 different answers. And what is that accomplishing? It's taking the wisdom of that person and baking it into the model and scaling it out, right? But what we don't know, what's not well talked about, is what domains these companies are investing in. And that's what was part of this talk in the last time at Jared's conference, is where are they investing more than not? And that's part of the journey of finding those boundaries. Sorry, I took that in a lot of different places. Did that answer your question? So this is a side hustle. I started in mid-September and had it up and running late October. You know, at most I was doing a couple hours here, a couple hours there. So call it 6 calendar weeks, part-time.
With that, if you know about Claudebot or Moltbot, whatever it's called now, would you use that instead of building your own, or is building your own going to get you farther than Claudebot?
So I'm not familiar with Claudebot.
The thing that's in the hype machine is essentially it's your own personal AI employee assistant who looks at your calendar and sends WhatsApp messages for you and everything.
So, 2 thoughts. There's a good amount of tools out there that are made to build your own bots. N8N is one. I would love to try doing this with N8N because it's not really from the program. It's from a no-code orientation. The little dabbling I did with N8N, and again, I'm not an expert in N8N in any shape, manner, or form. There was no obvious way to do the coding and web crawling. That put me solidly in this Claude Gemini mode. And then if I use the calendar through N8N, I don't know N8N. Do I want to give them a token that has my credentials in it? Maybe now I do it with the second email account, but I wouldn't do it with my primary email account. But the no code is really interesting. How much should go there? What should go there? How far can it go? Yeah. Did that answer your question, Jared?
Yes, and then as you follow up, then Claude has built-in integration with Google Calendar.
Yeah.
Do you trust that enough, or no? Because that's like do Claude's corporate agreements with Google, whatever.
I do trust Claude. I trust Anthropic. It's like a core principle. You hear any of the senior leaders from Anthropic talk, and they're heavy into trust. I do link my Google, all of my documents of the world are on Google Drive. I do link Google Drive to Claude and Anthropic. I do not link my calendar. I don't link email. Now that all my financials are kind of isolated in a sterile account, maybe. Do I care if Anthropic knows about my pickleball schedule and notifications? Not at all. So yeah, there's a boundary there, and it's probably a reassessing what I'm comfortable sharing with who when.
If this was really important for you to have it keep working the way you've gotten it working, and maybe you made a couple of other applications like this, and then they changed the website, and so the scraping broke and everything else, and all of a sudden you kind of had equal or more complications just keeping things you cared about running or not in a way that gets probably beyond a lot of the model's capabilities other than guiding them to each of the problems individually. How do you think about what to do next there? Would that be hiring someone in that hypothetical to manage these things you built, or some other direction?
It's a great question. So for the people virtually, the question is, if this application is really important to me, how do I manage the crawling piece when it can change, right? Crawling is a lousy solution. Really where I wanted to be was MCP, Model Context Protocol, where the LLM can talk to whatever tool, and the tool exposes actions and data, and it's all programmatic. It's a AI type interface. For these smaller yoga shop around the corner or pickleball place that has 2 locations, they don't have MCP. How important this is to me? So it's a great question, because as I went to test this Sunday, the pickleball stuff did not work. It's like, damn it. But you knew that was going to happen. So I just said to Claude, this isn't working, fix it. It almost got it. It got confused with the URL. I saw that it was confused with the URL. I said, you don't have the right URL, use this URL. Like the pickleball palace specific URL, it was just coming in through a generic one, so it couldn't log in. Anyway, and that fixed it. So I think if this is really important to me, and I'll know once I get through the booking, I would create an agent that tracks if the website changes and let me know if it changes. I think that's might be a reasonable way. Would I hire someone? No. This is going to save for me. I think the best case scenario is this is going to save for me an hour and a half a week. So that wouldn't justify hiring someone. But I think I could wrap a monitoring agent around this. Learn the static parts of this web page. Let me know if any of the static parts have changed. Better. That's right. That's right. Not we, you. Yes?
I noticed you had some conversations just in regular Claude, regular Gemini, and then other ones you were doing with Claude Code. How did you decide which to switch to the web app?
Everything was Claude, while Claude was working really well. When Claude could not solve the yoga web scraping, I went to Gemini. Email is Google email. I said, let me stay on Gemini. And sometimes when either the answer triggered my spidey sense, or it was a domain I felt I really, really didn't know, and it was kind of sort of important, I would ask the same question to the other model and see if the two linked up. It's sort of a random forest of sorts, right? Do the two AIs agree?
And then what did you decide to do in the web app versus the coding agent?
So the web app, there was a couple of options. Flask, there's another one, and Node.js.
Wait, sorry, no, I meant like when you were asking the LLMs questions,
Mm-hmm.
some of them you were just doing in Claude.com.
Yep.
Some you were actually working with Claude Code to write the code. Like, how did you, when were you conversing with Claude Code versus just regular Claude?
So would it be helpful if I showed Claude Code? Okay, let me do that. So early on in the planning phase, I'm almost exclusively at Claude.ai or Gemini.google.com. All that planning early stage is all online. Eventually, when, let's see which terminal window. This one, no. Oh, this one's actually kind of interesting. I don't know if you could see this. Can you read that? No, I'm sorry, this is small. So this is what started Sunday, where the pickleball web scraper stopped working. And you can see where there's red and green code diffs. That's Claude trying different things. And there's a whole bunch of them. It did a lot of different code changes, and none of these worked. So this is actually in Claude Code, and I'll show you that in a second. But
So basically, when you were trying to actually do stuff, you're in Claude Code, but all the thinking and planning was in the web apps.
That's right. So that's right. That's exactly right. And they both have access to Claude. And Claude Code, they had an interesting design philosophy. Everyone has, at Anthropic, sorry, why did I make this bigger? Sorry, I should have thought of that earlier. Bigger, Control plus. Is that better? Yeah, okay. So this is Claude Code. It's a terminal window. And the design process thinking behind that was amongst the whole set of developers at Anthropic, everyone has the IDE they prefer. So if they do a terminal window, one, everyone can use it. And two, if you fast forward 2, 3, 5 years out, it's not clear we're going to be using these. So they haven't invested a lot in an IDE. Anyway, so it's set to the directory that has all the source code. And what I can do is just say, summarize all the code in this directory in 5 sentences. And it has the most descriptive adverbs, ruminating. It's actually pretty funny.
Which is your favorite Claude Code descriptive adjective?
Oh, that's a great question. It's a Harry Potter one. Oh, I'll think of it. Do you have one? Wibbling. That's a good one. So this is 5 sentences on what the code base does. Scheduling data capture system Bookie, 3 main web scrapers, one for Revel Yoga, one for Pickleball Palace, using Selenium, one for Google Calendar. Scraper follows the page object model. So if you're with a new code base, it's phenomenal for getting your head wrapped around it. What we could do is, all right, I've never live coded, but I do have in here that's right. That's exactly right. So I think I have here, all right, so I did write a requirements, no, what's the name? 13, it should begin with 13. Yeah, 13, pickleball, Bookie. All right, so I wrote a 4-page requirements on what it would take to book. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Claude to read that file and create the code to book a pickleball. And so I need the file name. Okay. All right. Why does not? what am I missing here? Okay, read the file. It contains requirements for a web crawler to book pickleball court time. Create the code per these requirements. And it'll go. It's a big file. It's probably 35 megs because there's a lot of screen snapshots. Bash, do you want me to proceed? It's gonna, I don't want it to do that because it's gonna lose the pictures, but all right, sure, let's see where it goes. Sure. So this could take a while. It's ambitious to try to do this, but I'll create the Python script, logs, navigate, stops. Sure. So I don't know how long this is going to take, but any other questions?
How does it pay? Like, do you give it financial information, or do the shops already have your financial information?
They already have it. So for each of these two businesses, Revel Yoga, Pickleball Palace, I have an account, and I have a credit card on file.
Okay, so it doesn't handle payments at all.
I'm not giving a credit card to the AI. It's a good question. Yes.
I had two questions. So the first was there ever? So you mentioned that like Claude went off, I guess, with Opus and thought for 2 days. I imagine that like didn't come up with a positive result. I imagine that burned like a ton of tokens. Was there a sense that when it is requiring so much time that it's not going to come up with the correct answer and you should just like cut the process short?
So.
Or do you know? And also, do you know how many tokens that like went through?
I'm on the $20 a month plan. I haven't gone over that. So I'm paying, but I'm not paying a lot.
So when it like takes days, it's just waiting for your rate limit to like top back up.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Do you want to create? Yes.
My other question was, in this process of building something with a bunch of new technologies in Claude, what did you learn about those new technologies? Anything, a lot, like some of them you don't want to learn about?
I know a lot more about HTML than I ever thought I'd know, or I kind of really wanted to know. I think there's something really healthy about if I want to stand up a complete web application, that I can do that. I think that's kind of cool because there's no shortage of ideas. And if I have an idea that excites me and I can build it and without a lot of effort make it accessible to anyone, that's pretty cool. Upping the cloud skills, I think, is really healthy. So password managers and things like that. So having a better sense of what good looks like. I'm never going to be a web administrator, but if I'm engaging with a web administration team, I think it's going to help me engage them more effectively.
Question from online from Vikram. He says, would it be quicker, and I'm going to extend this question a little bit, would it be quicker to use Cursor, which has the LLM integration, rather than go back to work with Gemini? And I'll actually tweak that question. Did you use Gemini by open code or by anti-gravity or anything?
Great question. I did start this out using Cursor. And Cursor is phenomenal. it has the two big features it has are the promptings, what you've seen right now with Claude Code, and it has the coding equivalent of email type ahead. The type ahead is, I think, more good than not. Sometimes it goes off in directions I don't want, so you need, what's really important is to know the keyboard shortcuts for you want it or you don't want it. When I started going more the Gemini path, I flipped to Claude Code because I didn't know how to connect cursor to Gemini. I'm sure there's a way to do it, I just didn't know how to do it. So what I wound up doing to keep it super simple, and I wasn't using the type ahead feature much, I just used VS Code. And in VS Code, I have the Claude Code window up. So you have the benefit of easy access to the files on the left and flipping in and out. Copy, paste is simple, or you instruct Claude Code to write this file out. Boom, it's automatically picked up by VS Code. But where Claude Code became really, really my go-to is when I switched to doing this from Lambda to an EC2 instance. It's trivial to have Claude Code running in my terminal window on my cloud instance. And it's trivial to have it running on my Mac in between the two. So that least common denominator feature I found attractive. I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
When it comes to cloud optimization costs, are you using more with EC2 as opposed to when you were trying to use Lambda?
So the question is, when it comes to cloud costs, am I paying more with EC2? Short answer is yes. At the moment, I'm paying like $33 a month. Probably a little more than I'd prefer to do, but ultimately I'm going to push to see. What I really want is, there's 4 pickleball sessions I go to practically every week. They're not easy to get into. It's a rolling 12-day window when you can start booking. And if I could get the book portion working, then I'll just wrap a schedule around that. And as soon as it opens up, it'll grab it. Or if I'm on a wait list, it's the first one to respond to the text that gets in. So the race begins. This should come in handy there. You know, am I willing to spend $400 a year to do this? I know what my CFO at home would say, so the clock is running. Yes, 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 yes.
Sorry, one more question. When you showed us the demo, you typed in the whatever Saturday, Sunday, that's making a call to Gemini or something online, or is that running in your local instance?
It's connecting to JS node code that's running on my ES2 instance, which invokes Python code on that same instance, which is connected to Bedrock, which then gives me the option of running the prompt on Claude, on Gemini. At the moment, it's running on Claude.
So the is happening in the cloud, it's making those calls to the cloud.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
That makes sense.
Yes.
And also, couldn't you run this like on a Raspberry Pi or something like that?
So the question is, can I run this on a Raspberry Pi?
Cloud services, and it's not doing any processing on the node itself, or very little.
It's doing very little.
Yeah.
It is doing very. So I guess in theory, yes. Or if I am.
If you have an old Mac, there's something called amphetamine. It's an app you run, it just keeps on all the time.
Oh, interesting. Even if the Mac goes to sleep?
Right? Yeah, it's a great tool.
Amphetamine?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll have to check that out.
It's a great app.
Okay. Will the app work if the Mac goes to sleep?
You can also, it'll keep it on. You can tell it to wake up every once in a while to run.
Oh, interesting. I will check that out. You might get my CFO approval.
Yeah, I'll show it if you want to see it.
Totally, totally. Where are we? We have code. All right, can we run it? Uh-oh. Cooked. Let's run it. So this is in headless mode, so we're counting on Claude to tell us if it ran or not. I would expect this to run for about 15, 20 seconds. Modify the script to auto-confirm the initial prompt, but still stop at payment. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to say, yes, modify it. Also, remove the gatekeeper, which requires human intervention for payment. Make this, in other words, make this 100% automated. All right, so if it works, I should be able to see it on my app on my phone, my pickleball app. So now it's bothering me what that Harry Potter adverb was. I'll think of it. Any other questions?
Yeah, I have a question. As someone who has dabbled with the agents and using the web apps as well, I found what you did planning on the app itself or the desktop app, and then going and using the agent to help you code in your IDE or in your terminal is actually the way that I would do it as well. But as far as when it gets into actually testing things, I wonder how you approach that. Like, did you orchestrate everything at once, or were you modularizing certain parts of the application, testing that, and then building on top of it?
So the question is about using the individual interface. And did I ultimately do this in modules or build it out all at once?
Yeah.
Very much modules. So the first real module was the pickleball schedule, and that's independent of the others. Got that to work. Then the yoga schedule data, which was a whole rabbit hole. Then the Google Calendar. And once those three are done, I have all the data I need. So then you kind of, in this case, the orchestration wasn't very complicated. It's a shell script that runs from a cron job. I'm sorry, I'm just going to stop Claude because apparently NYU has something against Pickleball Palace. So I will try this at home and report back. It's orchestration light, and very much some of the modulars were pretty intense, especially for someone who's a newbie for a lot of these concepts. Anything else? Last question.
How was the transition from the CSV files to the AWS?
It was a lot. It really was a lot. I'm going to close this. So I know what I should know on AWS. I know how to use SageMaker when someone else has set it up for me. I know how to use notebooks when someone else has set it up for me. There's a lot of concepts in the cloud administration world. And there's using roughly 8 or 10 services, identities, passwords, servers, roles. So each one of those was a journey unto itself. Each one of those involved, I'm a newbie, be very specific with me, give me the script I need to run. So as what helped a lot, there's ways with AWS, you might know, where you can run things as scripts rather than going through GUIs. GUIs are more complicated to learn and well, they're easier to learn, but there's a lot to navigate. When you're doing 8 of them, it's a lot. Whereas if you say, write the script for me, it's just a copy-paste run. So I found that helped me through it faster and probably abstracted more of it for me. All right. Thank you all very much. Jared, thank you for the opportunity.
That was excellent. I had a fun time. I think everyone else did. I will plug, if you need another cloud provider, DigitalOcean. It is a New York-based cloud company that is significantly cheaper and easier than AWS. And it's based in New York, so we all win. I need to get one of them here to give a talk and give us all credits or something. So that was excellent. Next month, we have George Parrott on February 19th. We'll be announcing that very soon. We are going to go to the bar. Who remembers what bar it is? That did not sound enthusiastic, but and remember where it is? Right down the street. It's like really right there. Okay, so February 19th, sign up soon. Go to the bar, and everyone, thank you very much to Bill. That was an excellent talk. All right. Have a happy night and a happy new year.